I'll start my presentation by quoting an unknown author who said, "A woman cannot be herself in the society of the present day, which is an exclusively masculine society, with laws framed by men and with a judicial system that judges feminine conduct from a masculine point of view." Another author went on to say that the best judge of whether or not a country is going to develop is how it treats its women. If it's educating its girls, if women have equal rights, that country is going to move forward. But if women are oppressed and abused and illiterate, then they are going to fall behind. May I try and do an interface between a link between peace and development, and also see whether there's also a link between these two issues to do with gender as well. Loosely spoken, peace is a process involving activities that are directly or indirectly linked to increasing development. And it is more than the absence or reduction of violence, but the presence of justice. Both definitions focus on human beings in a social setting, for both men and women, for both women and girls. Thus, in order to ensure sustainable development, it is imperative to respect full gender equality and equity. So gender, peace, and development are linked. Peace is a panacea for development, and no sustainable development without gender equality. So women's empowerment is therefore central to human development, and being a process of enlarging people's choices cannot occur when the choices of half of humanity are restricted. My experiences in communities with women who are in mining communities is that violence exists within and still exists within the framework of patriarchy, and is supported by day-to-day practices which promote equality. So mining has definitely brought with it a lot of challenges. The legal components with is what my sister was basically talking about. But what are the practicalities in terms of experiences by women in mining communities, as a case study of where I'm coming from? Issues to do with early marriages, issues to do with family breakups, issues to do with school dropouts, HIV and AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases, issues to do with gender-based violence. In 2007, a local hospital in Marange actually had a register of 850 HIV patients. In 2009, it had risen to 1,760. The population continues to rise. 3% of those die every month. What does that mean? More orphans, family conflicts. Sexual abuse as well is another challenge, and exploitation by security personnel of illegal diamond miners and company workers. Sex worker business boosted. What does that mean? The vicious cycle of HIV, AIDS, and STIs. Relocation for single mothers, ladies and gentlemen, remains a challenge. Also, issues to do with child labor, as the girl child leaves or drops out from school and works as a vendor in order to boost the upkeep of the family and livelihoods of families that are affected. My observations: women have been excluded from decision making, so male power over women increases, reducing the dignity of women and their rights. When we talk about decision making, ladies and gentlemen, it's basically at two levels. The generation that has gone through education, and my mother's generation, which because of societal influences, the patriarchal issues to do with the girl child during those days, was not exposed to education. It also means that representation in terms of participation at local level by women who are not literate, by women who are affected directly in communities. And when we talk about issues to do with decision making, we are not talking about a creation of a ministry by merely creating a ministry to give a woman a post, but to give effective decision-making mechanisms for women to do with participation and involvement in these processes. So mining itself as well has brought less employment opportunities for women, so it has increased dependence on men. She was talking the issues to do with the involvement of women in terms of employment. My experiences are that women, yes, have got employment, but which type of employment is something else. When you talk about mining, it requires expertise. The women that we're talking about are women who prepare the food, women who bring the dishes, women who wash the linen in the villages where the men are staying. So when it comes to managerial posts, it's very difficult, and we have very few women who are there. Undermining women have managed to get into positions of authority, institutionalizing the supposed inferiority of women, and lack of policies supporting women's rights, police not taking women's complaints seriously. It takes a woman of courage, a woman who has gone through capacity building, to go through the frustration of interrogation and questioning by a police officer. The current methods of enforcement, ladies and gentlemen, do not adequately protect women from the human rights abuses they suffer on a daily basis. Why? For example, the courts themselves, the accessibility to them. The Supreme Court is in Harare, not to talk about the other small courts in the provinces that women come from. The experience of boarding a bus to a new area into the urban city. The experience of getting a lift into the high offices of a lawyer. The experiences of sitting directly faced to a lawyer and going through the frustrations of the questioning and interrogation of a lawyer so as to extract information, especially of women who have been abused in mining, still remains something that we need to do in terms of capacity building for women. So many women are ignorant of the existence of these accessibilities and offices where they can get assistance. Many women cannot afford also to hire lawyers to represent them. What are the possible remedies? Perhaps a Gender Equality Commission, the Human Rights Commission, is it going to resurrect? Public interest litigation, as well as affirmative action. My recommendations, ladies and gentlemen, would be for the companies in the communities to create a special desk that deals with issues of women, monitoring tools by civic society and church-based institutions, as well as with our traditional leaders, to make sure that this implementation is a reality. Purposeful involvement and participation by mining companies of women in all processes, not only on employment issues, but also to do with relocation, because there are issues that are specifically affecting women. But also to continue and do an ongoing civic education to strengthen the capacity of women to demand the rights that belong to them. I thank you.